The shadows beneath the stairs. The Millers were a typical family of four: parents Mark and Sarah, their teenage daughter Emily, and their young son Tommy. They had just moved into an old Victorian house in a quiet, rural town. The house was a bargain, spacious, with a large backyard and full of character. But there was something off about it. The air always felt heavy, and the walls seemed to whisper when no one was around. At first, the family brushed it off as the quirks of an old house. But soon, strange things began to happen. Tommy, who was only 6, started talking to someone named Mr. Hollow. He claimed Mr. Hollow lived beneath the stairs and was his new friend. Emily, ever the skeptic, laughed it off, but Mark and Sarah grew uneasy. They checked the crawl space under the stairs, but it was empty, just dust and cobwebs. One night, Sarah woke up to the sound of Tommy giggling. She followed the noise to the staircase and found him sitting at the top, staring into the darkness below. "Tommy, what are you doing?" she asked. He turned to her, his eyes wide and unblinking. "Mr. Hollow says he wants to play with Emily next." The next day, Emily began acting strangely. She locked herself in her room, claiming she heard scratching noises at her door every night. When Mark tried to reassure her, she snapped, "You don't understand. He's real." "I've seen him, his face in the mirror, his hands under my bed." Desperate, the family called a priest to bless the house, but as the priest recited prayers, the air grew colder and the walls seemed to pulse. The priest abruptly stopped, his face pale. "There's something here," he said. "Something ancient and angry. It's not just a spirit. It's a presence that feeds on fear, and it's latched onto your family." That night, the house erupted into chaos. Lights flickered, furniture moved on its own, and a guttural voice echoed through the halls. Tommy disappeared, his faint laughter trailing from beneath the stairs. Mark and Sarah pried open the crawl space, only to find a gaping hole that hadn't been there before. It led deep underground, into a labyrinth of tunnels. They descended into the darkness, calling Tommy's name. The walls were covered in strange symbols, and the air reeked of decay. At the center of the tunnels, they found Tommy, standing in front of a shadowy figure with hollow eyes and a grin too wide for its face. "Mr. Hollow says we can all stay together," Tommy said, his voice eerily calm. Before Mark and Sarah could react, the figure lunged at them, its form shifting into a mass of shadows. They barely escaped, but Tommy was gone. The house was silent again, as if nothing had happened. The police found no trace of Tommy or the tunnels, and the family was left broken. Years later, Emily returned to the house, now an adult. She had never stopped searching for answers. As she stood in the empty living room, she heard a faint giggle. Beneath the stairs, the crawl space was open again, and this time she swore she saw Tommy's face in the darkness, smiling at her. By Michael, Obayalu.